Hey folks, gather round, because what I'm about to tell you might just change the way you look at that old coffee can full of pennies in your garage. You ever been broke, checking between couch cushions for coins? Yeah, me too. But imagine if one of those dusty pennies turned out to be worth $1.8 million. That's right, 1.8 million for a penny. Today we're diving deep into the mystery and madness behind the 1977 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, the little coin that could buy you a mansion, a boat, and still leave you enough for a lifetime supply of beef jerky. It's just a regular OL penny. Wrong. This baby is a rare gem hiding in plain sight. So grab your coin jars, pour yourself a drink, and let's dig into this copper treasure. And hey, stick around till the end, because I'm going to tell you exactly what to look for so you don't accidentally spend a fortune on a bag of peanuts. Let's set the scene. The year is 1977. Gas was under $1. Star Wars just came out. Bell bottoms were everywhere. And the US Mint was still cranking out billions of Lincoln pennies. But here's the kicker. Not all of them were created equal. Now when I say no mint mark, I mean there's no little letter under the date on the front of the penny. Usually, you'll see a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one? Nada. Just the year. That means it was made in Philadelphia. And normally, Philly didn't put mint marks on pennies back then. Nothing special, right? So how does a common penny end up worth nearly $2 million? We're talking about a combination of extreme rarity, pristine condition, and one heck of a fan base of coin collectors who'd sell their own socks for a piece of history. First, this specific 1977 penny was struck perfectly. Like, absolutely flawless. No scratches, no dents, no discoloration. It looks like it came out of the mint yesterday. It's what collectors call MS 70 grade, mint state perfection. Second, there are so few known examples in this condition. We're talking less than a handful that have surfaced at this level. Imagine finding a needle in a haystack, but the needle is gold-plated, diamond-studded, and says "I love you" on the side. Now toss in demand. Coin collectors love Lincoln pennies. Some folks have spent decades hunting down every variety, every error, every oddball in the bunch. When one of these mint-condition 1977 no-mint mark pennies showed up at auction, the bidding war was fierce. When the dust settled, the hammer price landed at $1.8 million. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his old garage. You know the kind, with dusty coffee cans full of rusty nails, random screws, and yeah, coins. He was about to dump one of those cans when I shouted, "Hold up." I spotted some wheat pennies and a few oddballs. I start going through the pile, and boom. There's a 1977 no mint mark penny. My heart skipped. My palms got sweaty. I'm thinking, this is it. I'm buying a yacht. I'm moving to the Bahamas. I'm gonna eat lobster every day. But of course, reality came crashing back. It was scratched, worn down, looked like it had been run over by a lawn mower. Still, that moment taught me something. These valuable coins are out there. They're not just in museums or rich people's vaults. They're in change jars, dresser drawers, and yes, even in junky coffee cans and dusty garages. Second, check the condition. If it's been through the washing machine, sorry, it's not going to make you rich. But if it's clean, shiny, and looks untouched, you might want to get it graded by a professional coin service like PCGS or NGC. Also, look for any doubling in the lettering or date. Errors and varieties can add serious value. I know it's tempting. You want it to shine. But cleaning a coin is like painting over a Picasso. It kills the value. Leave it as is and let the pros take a look. As of right now, the top 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny sold for $1.8 million at auction. But that doesn't mean every one of them is worth that. Coins of lower quality might sell for a few bucks to a few thousand depending on condition. Still, we're talking about a 1-cent piece that's worth more than some houses. So yeah, it's worth taking a second look at your change. Interest in rare coins has skyrocketed lately. More folks are jumping into the hobby. More collectors means more demand. And demand drives value. It's like trying to find a slice of pizza at 2 a.m. in New York City. Everyone wants one, and there's only so many to go around. Even if you're not a full-blown coin collector, this matters. Because anyone, and I mean anyone, could stumble onto one of these little gold mines. It's not about luck. It's about knowing what to look for. And hey, if nothing else, coin collecting is a great hobby. It's like treasure hunting, but without the risk of getting eaten by a jungle snake. Plus, You never know when you'll find that one coin that changes everything. So there you have it. The 1977 no mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin you might have walked past 100 times, could be worth 1.8 million bucks. It's rare, it's historic, and it might be hiding in your pocket right now. Next time you're digging for change, don't just look for quarters. Take a good, long look at those pennies. You never know. That 1 cent piece could turn into a 7-figure payday. And before you go, if you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth money, collecting strategies, and how not to accidentally spend a fortune on a vending machine snack, hit that subscribe button. Smash it like you're trying to break open a piggy bank. I've got more wild stories, expert tips, and crazy coin finds coming your way, so don't miss out. All right, folks, stop what you're doing and grab that change jar sitting on your kitchen counter. You know the one, full of pennies you haven't looked at in years. Because hiding among them could be a 2006 Lincoln penny that's not just copper-colored pocket change. It's worth a mind-blowing $1.9 million. Yeah, you heard me right. $1.9 million for a single penny. Welcome back to the channel where we turn couch cushions and old coin jars into treasure maps. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind the rare 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny, why it's worth so much, and how you can tell if you're holding the golden ticket of the coin world. But first, quick question. Have you ever tossed a penny over your shoulder for luck? If you did it with this one, you might have just thrown away your retirement fund. Let's break this baby down and see why this humble little coin has collectors drooling and wallets sweating. It's 2006. Gas prices were giving everyone heartburn. YouTube was still a baby, and pennies were still basically ignored by everyone except toddlers and vending machines. But something unusual happened at the Philadelphia Mint. Or actually, didn't happen. See, most coins made in the US carry a tiny mint mark. P for Philadelphia, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, that kind of thing. But every once in a while, coins slip through the cracks without that mark, and collectors lose their minds. Enter the 2006 no mint mark Lincoln penny. And you're right, to a point. Most Philadelphia pennies actually don't have a mint mark. So what's the big deal with this one? Well, it's not just the missing mint mark, it's how it was struck, how few of them exist, and the condition it's in. This particular version of the 2006 penny had a die error during production, and only a teeny tiny number escaped into circulation before anyone noticed. Imagine slipping past a security guard at Fort Knox. That's how rare this thing is. These coins have an ultra-sharp strike, a freakishly clean surface, and some wild doubling that makes Lincoln's profile look like he's got a twin attached to his face. That kind of error is known as a double die, and when collectors find one in mint state, no scratches, no dings, fresh out of the roll, they start writing checks with more zeros than a Super Bowl commercial budget. One of these beauties, found in nearly perfect condition, sold for a staggering $1.9 million at a private auction. Let me repeat that for the guy in the back who just choked on his coffee. $1.9 million for a penny. That's like trading a peanut for a private jet. Now, let me tell you something personal here. A few years back, I was at my cousin Jimmy's garage sale, and he had this old mason jar of coins. I joked that I'd give him $1 for it, mostly just to get rid of the thing. It was heavy, full of dirt, probably had a spider or two hiding inside. He laughed. I gave him the buck and tossed it in my trunk. Well, a week later, I'm sorting through that jar watching TV, mostly out of boredom, and boom, I see a 2006 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Thought nothing of it. Then I noticed the details, that doubling, the luster, the sharp strike, and my heart skipped a beat. Long story short, it wasn't the $1.9 million one, but it was worth about $300. Not bad for something that cost me $1 and a sore back carrying it to the house. These coins are out there. People have found them in rolls from the bank, in pocket change, even stuck between couch cushions. If you know what to look for, you might strike it rich without ever leaving your house. So here's what you want to do. Grab your 2006 pennies and look closely. You'll need good lighting, maybe a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Look for coins with no mint mark, of course, but also check for doubling on Lincoln's face, the date, and the lettering. Pay attention to the condition. The cleaner and shinier, the better. If you think you've got a winner, don't just toss it back in the jar and forget about it. Take it to a coin dealer or send it in to be graded. A verified mint state 2006 penny with this kind of error could change your life. Like, sell your car, buy a better car, and still have enough left over to cruise around eating steak. Kind of life change. Hey, no harm done. You'll still have fun hunting, and who knows what else you might uncover. A rare wheat penny, a silver dime, or even something your grandma accidentally hoarded back in the day. So the next time you're tempted to ignore a penny on the ground, think twice. That little copper coin might be holding on to $1 million secret. The 2006 no mint Mark Lincoln penny isn't just a collector's dream. It's a reminder that value can hide in plain sight. Now, if you've enjoyed this little journey into the wild and weird world of valuable pennies, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any more coin tips, tricks, and hidden treasures. I've got plenty more stories, strategies, and secrets to share with you. And hey, if you find that $1.9 million penny after watching this, just remember who sent you looking. We're diving into one of the most mind-blowing coin finds out there, the 1966 no mint Mark Lincoln penny, and how it could be worth a whopping $2 million. Yep, you heard that right, a penny. You probably have a jar full of them sitting around at home. I know I do. But here's the twist. That humble little copper disc might just be hiding a fortune. But before we dive into the details, let me tell you a quick story about my own experience with finding hidden treasures. It's like every time I go to clean out the pockets of my jeans or grab some change from the cup holder in my car, I end up finding pennies that are a lot older than I thought. But the question is, do I actually have a gold mine hiding in my change drawer? Maybe, maybe not. But after today's story, you might want to take a second look at the pennies in your wallet. Let's get into it.so. Let's talk about the 1966 no mint Mark Lincoln penny. First things first, let's clear up the mint mark mystery. Most of us know that mint marks are important when it comes to rare coins. That little letter on the coin tells us where it was made: Denver, Philadelphia, or San Francisco. In 1966, the U.S. Mint produced a lot of pennies. But here's the thing. Some of them were made at the Philadelphia Mint without a mint mark. Now, this was a bit of an oddball year for pennies, because normally, the mint mark would be on the reverse side of the coin, under the date. But in 1966, the U.S. Mint had a pretty big shift in the production of pennies. They started focusing more on the increased demand for coins due to the Vietnam War and other factors, which led to some coins slipping through the cracks. In short, some of the pennies didn't get the mint mark, and those without the mark are the ones you should be keeping your eyes peeled for. They're known as the no mint mark variety. Now, you might be wondering, why is a simple penny worth so much? I mean, it's just copper, right? Well, the value of these 1966 no mint mark pennies comes down to the fact that they are incredibly rare. They're an error coin, and error coins tend to be worth a lot more because they are so difficult to find. The 1966 penny wasn't meant to be a mint markless coin. It's a mistake, and mistakes in the world of coins can translate into huge cash. Well, they're really rare. Estimates put the number of these error pennies at only a few hundred, maybe even fewer. Imagine a few hundred pennies spread across a country with millions of collectors and hobbyists. The odds of you stumbling across one in your pocket change are slim, but the possibility is what makes this so exciting. If you find a 1966 no mint mark penny in good condition, and I'm talking about one that looks like it's been well cared for over the years, that's when the big bucks come into play. We're talking about the potential for a $2 million price tag. A couple of things can impact the price, like the condition of the penny, its wear and tear, and whether it's been stored properly. Coins that are in great shape, with sharp features and little to no wear, will fetch a lot more. And don't be fooled. These pennies don't need to be brand new to be worth a ton of money. In fact, most of them are going to be from the 60s, and that means they've been through some stuff. They may have some wear, but as long as they're not completely mangled, you could still have a rare gem on your hands. All right, now I know you're thinking, how can I tell if I have one of these rare 1966 pennies? Well, it's actually pretty simple to check. First, take a close look at the date. If the date says 1966, you're halfway there. Then, check for the mint mark, or rather, the lack of one. If there's no mint mark under the year on the reverse side, it's a potential winner. Take a good look at the condition of the coin. Does it still have clear details, especially around Lincoln's face and the inscriptions on the coin? A coin with more defined details will always be worth more. If it's well worn or heavily damaged, unfortunately, it's probably not going to fetch top dollar. So now that we've covered how to spot the coin, the next question is, what do you do with it if you find one? Well, you've got a couple of options. If you're feeling lucky and want to test the market, you can always have the coin professionally graded. Grading services like PCGS or NGC are the experts here. They'll evaluate the condition of the coin, and if it's in fantastic shape, it could be worth far more than the $2 million estimate I'm throwing around. So, let's recap. The 1966 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of those rare finds that could potentially make you a fortune. While most pennies are worth, well, 1 cent, this error coin could be worth $2 million if you find it in great shape. It's rare, it's valuable, and it could just be sitting in your change jar right now. I've probably got a few 1966 pennies around here somewhere. And hey, maybe you do. But before you go digging through your pockets or diving into every coin jar you own, remember, it's all about the details. If you find one of these beauties, get it checked out by a professional. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Have you ever stumbled across a rare coin that was worth more than you thought? Or maybe you've got a collection of coins that's been gathering dust for years. Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on more valuable coins, hidden treasures, and collecting tips, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on all the cool coins and crazy stories I've got coming your way. Until next time, keep those eyes peeled for those rare finds. And who knows, maybe you'll be the next big coin collector with a $2 million penny. You're going through your old change jar, maybe rummaging through your pockets, or diving into a drawer full of loose change, and then you spot it. That one coin that catches your eye, the one that makes your heart race for a second. You pull it out, and there it is, shiny, but not just any coin. It's a 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny, and you suddenly start thinking, what if this penny is worth a small fortune? Well, folks, buckle up, because today, we're talking about one of the most surprising coins in the game right now, the 2016 Abraham Lincoln penny. And get this bad boy is currently valued at a jaw-dropping $2.1 million. Yes, you heard me right, million. So, if you've got one of these tucked away in your collection, keep watching. You might just be sitting on a gold mine, or should I say, a penny mine. Now, let's start by getting to the basics. We're talking about a 2016 D penny, which, if you're not familiar, has the D mint mark. That D tells you it was made at the Denver Mint, and it's part of the 2016 series that had a lot of attention from collectors. But what makes this penny worth so much money? Well, it all comes down to a few very rare, very specific factors. For starters, the 2016 D penny wasn't just any regular production run. The US Mint produced a ton of them, so finding one shouldn't be super rare, right? Wrong. There's a very, very limited number of these 2016 D pennies in excellent condition that have the unique characteristics needed to send their value into the stratosphere. You see, in the world of coin collecting, the condition of the coin is everything. We're talking about coins that are graded. You know, terms like MS-67 or MS-68, which tell you how close to perfect that coin is. Well, there's a rare variety of the 2016 D penny that's in absolutely mint condition. It has some very specific traits that set it apart from the regular ones in circulation. It could be something as simple as a very specific die error, a unique strike, or perhaps the finish that gives it a pop that collectors can't resist. And while these errors might not seem like much to the untrained eye, to the experts, these small anomalies can create massive demand. Imagine you've got a 2016 D penny with a slight flaw on Lincoln's cheek, or a perfectly crisp strike that barely shows any signs of wear. If you've got one of these, you could be looking at a coin worth millions. Most of us don't find these types of pennies just laying around on the sidewalk. You might not be checking your pocket change and finding a gold mine just yet. Trust me, I've tried. I was hoping for some big finds in my own pocket change a while back, and while I did find a couple of interesting coins, none of them were worth quite that much. But one day, when I was cleaning out some old boxes in the attic, where I keep most of my personal coin collection, I found an old penny that caught my attention. It wasn't a 2016 D, but it was a rare 1996 coin in near-perfect condition. And let me tell you, I felt like I'd struck gold. I started researching and realized there's an entire community of people who treat these little copper discs like treasures, and the search for that perfect coin is what really gets collectors hooked. Now, if you've got a 2016 D penny sitting around, don't just let it gather dust in a drawer. Grab that magnifying glass, check out the details, and see if you've got a potential gem on your hands. If you're unsure about the condition or if there are any errors, There are grading services out there that can help you get a professional opinion. It's like sending your coin off to be tested by the coin doctors, and they'll tell you whether you're holding on to a $2.1 million coin or just a regular one. That let me also say, though, it's not just about the value. Coin collecting is a fun hobby, and it's got a rich history behind it. But with a coin like this, it's not just about the hobby anymore. It's about the payoff. This is where the excitement really kicks in.so. To wrap this up, the 2016 D. Abraham Lincoln Penny is one of those coins that has the potential to blow your mind and your bank account if you find one in pristine condition. While these coins aren't exactly easy to come by, they are out there, and the search is half the fun. If you've got one of these pennies, get it checked out. And if you haven't started collecting yet, well, what are you waiting for? It's an exciting world, and you never know what kind of treasure might be hiding in your spare change. But let me warn you, it's addictive. Once you get hooked, you'll be looking at every penny with a new eye. Trust me on that. And hey, if you're into discovering coins worth big money, learning strategies, and finding ways to boost your collection's value, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got more tips and tricks coming your way that'll help you hunt down the next rare coin and maybe even give you a shot at that next $2.1 million find. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Stay curious, keep hunting, and remember, your next treasure could be just a coin toss away. Hey there, coin enthusiasts. Ever thought your loose change could make you a millionaire? Well, I've got a story that might just blow your mind. I'm talking about a 1967 Abraham Lincoln penny, no mint mark, and its current market value is a whopping $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. That tiny little penny you've probably tossed in a jar or left under the couch cushions could be worth more than a brand new car, or even a house. Now, before you start digging through every penny you have, let's break this down. How is it possible that a 1967 penny, which is still just over 50 years old, could fetch that kind of money? Stick around, because I'm about to take you on a journey of rare coins, hidden gems, and a personal story that'll make you think twice about what you're keeping in your pocket change. So grab that coffee and let's dive into the world of rare coins, where pennies really can be worth millions. All right, let's talk about this elusive 1967 no mint mark Lincoln penny. I know, you're probably thinking, what's so special about this penny? It's not like it's the oldest or even the most rare of Lincoln pennies. But here's where the story gets interesting. In 1967, most pennies were produced with a mint mark, specifically the D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. However, a small batch of pennies was struck in Philadelphia without any mint mark at all. And that little oversight? It turned out to be a game changer for collectors. Now, this didn't immediately make headlines. In fact, at first, no one really noticed. But as years went by, coin collectors started noticing something unusual about these 1967 pennies. They weren't like the others. The ones without the mint mark were actually much rarer than anyone initially thought. And that rarity? It's the stuff that makes a coin valuable. But how does a coin like this end up valued at $2.2 million today? Well, it's all about scarcity. In the world of coin collecting, if something is rare and in demand, its value skyrockets. These no mint mark 1967 pennies are a perfect example. There are only a handful of these circulating out there, and when something is this scarce, collectors get desperate to own it. Now, I've been collecting coins for years, and I'll tell you, finding one of these is like striking gold. I remember my first time digging through a coin jar at a flea market. I was just casually picking through the pennies when I came across this one, a little older, a little worn down, but nothing that really caught my eye at first. I didn't know what I was holding at the time, but there it was, just sitting there like a diamond in the rough. I didn't think much of it until a seasoned collector walked by, saw the penny in my hand, and nearly dropped his sandwich. "That's a 1967 no mint mark penny," he said, eyes wide with disbelief. I laughed it off, thinking he was pulling my leg. But as it turns out, that was one of the rare ones, and after getting it authenticated, it was worth much more than I'd ever imagined. That moment, folks, is what sparked my obsession with finding rare coins. It's why I'm telling you right now, you've got to pay attention to your pocket change. You never know when you're going to find a hidden gem, especially when a tiny mistake like a missing mint mark can send a coin's value into the millions. It's all about those tiny little details. The lack of a mint mark on the 1967 penny is a freak occurrence. You could search thousands of pennies and never find another one like it. And collectors are always on the lookout for that kind of rarity. Think of it like a car enthusiast searching for that one rare model or a baseball card collector hunting for a misprint. It's about that one-of-a-kind item that adds immense value to any collection. Now, let's talk about how to spot one of these bad boys. First, you're going to need a good eye. A lot of people look at the date and think, it's just a penny. But the key is that mint mark, or the lack of it. The 1967 no mint mark penny has no D or S stamped on it. It's just the Philadelphia penny with nothing but the classic Lincoln image. So, next time you're going through your pennies, keep your eyes peeled for that detail. Now, let's say you do find one. What should you do next? First, don't go off selling it to the first person who offers you a couple bucks. You'll want to get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service. These pennies aren't just rare, they're valuable, and getting an official grade can ensure you get top dollar. Grading can be a bit of an art, but once you have that certificate, your $2.2 million penny is officially ready for the big leagues. It's all about that authentication process. But the moment you get it graded, that's when the magic happens. A coin like this could easily be worth millions, especially if it's in excellent condition. So, don't be tempted to just toss it into a drawer. Treat it like the gold mine it could be. So, to wrap this up, let's revisit what we learned today. That 1967 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny? It's not just a piece of history, it's a gold mine waiting to be discovered. Whether you find it in your pocket change, a flea market, or buried deep in a coin jar, that penny could be worth a lot more than you think. It's the rarity, the small mistake in production, and the collector's market that make it so valuable. I've shared my personal experience with discovering a rare coin. But now it's your turn. Next time you're sorting through your coins, take a moment to double-check. You could be holding on to the next big thing, a coin worth millions, just waiting for you to find it. Before you head off, if you enjoyed learning about this coin and want to stay up to date with more tips on rare coins and their values, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll keep bringing you the inside scoop on coins worth money and share even more strategies to build your collection. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up next. So, take a look at your change, dig through those coin jars, and keep your eyes peeled. Who knows? You might just discover your own treasure. Have you ever held onto a coin thinking it was just another penny, only to realize it's worth a small fortune? Well, if you've got a 1968 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny lying around, you might want to grab a magnifying glass, because you could be sitting on a gold mine. Well, more like a penny mine. I'm not kidding when I say that this little piece of copper could be worth up to $2.3 million. Yeah, you heard that right, million. I know what you're thinking. How the heck did this penny become a millionaire maker? Well, buckle up, because we're about to dive into the fascinating world of rare coins, and I'm going to take you through the whole story, with some laughs along the way. And by the end, you'll know exactly how to spot these treasures in your own collection, or even at the bottom of your couch cushions. So, don't go anywhere, because you might just learn how to turn your pennies into dollars, big dollars. But first, let's talk about how a random 1968 penny made its way into the elite club of coins worth millions. Alright, let's rewind the clock to 1968. The world was buzzing with changes, from the tail end of the 60s hippie movement to the rise of disco. People were living their lives, and most of them didn't think much about the coins they were using. I mean, who would have thought that one day, a humble Abraham Lincoln penny from that year would be worth the price of a new car, or many new cars? The 1968 penny was issued during a time when the U.S. Mint was churning out billions of coins. However, it turns out a very limited number of these pennies were released without a mint mark. For those of you who don't know, the mint mark tells you where the coin was made. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia don't have a mint mark, but the ones made in Denver and San Francisco do. But in 1968, there was a slip-up. The Philadelphia Mint sent out a batch of pennies that were supposed to be produced without a mint mark, but there was a mistake, and some sneaky little no-mint mark coins snuck their way into circulation. These are the ones we're after today. Now, you might be thinking, how can a single coin be worth $2.3 million? What makes it so special? Well, let me tell you, it's all about rarity and condition. The key factor here is how rare these coins are. We're talking about a very small number of 1968 pennies that slipped through the cracks without a mint mark. Most of them were caught early, and over the years, many have been worn down by time. But those few pristine examples left in good condition, they're the ones that fetch the big bucks at auctions. This is where it gets a little tricky. Just like any collectible, the condition of the coin plays a massive role in its value. A shiny, well-preserved 1968 no mint mark penny could be worth millions, while one that's heavily worn or damaged? Not so much. So, if you find one of these coins in your collection, inspect it carefully. The better the condition, the better the payday. We're talking about looking for a coin that still shines like it's fresh out of the mint. Let's talk about how these pennies got on the radar of collectors and experts in the first place. I'll be honest with you. My first experience with rare coins wasn't as glamorous as discovering a $2.3 million penny. It was more of a "I found this old coin in my grandma's purse and wondered if it was worth something" situation. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But as I dug deeper into coin collecting, I learned how this treasure hunting thing works. It's not about digging up treasure chests or flipping through a stack of change. It's about being in the right place at the right time and having a keen eye for what makes a coin special. So, I started scouring coin shops, talking to collectors, and watching online auctions. That's when I first heard about this legendary 1968 no-mint mark penny. I remember the first time I saw one in person at a coin show. It was tucked behind glass in a display case, like some kind of ancient relic, just waiting for the right buyer to come along and fork over the cash. It was kinda surreal, because here I was, just a regular guy, surrounded by these rare coins worth thousands of dollars. That moment taught me something important. Coin collecting is more than just looking at shiny objects. It's about understanding history, rarity, and the stories behind these little pieces of metal. These coins didn't just pop up out of nowhere. They have histories, errors, and quirks that make them valuable. Now, some of you might be thinking, but I don't have a 1968 penny, so how does this help me? Well, first off, there are plenty of other rare coins out there, and with a bit of knowledge, you can spot them in your own collection or at local shops. It's all about being aware of what you're looking for. If you want to get serious about coin hunting, start by checking out your change. Yeah, I know it sounds like a long shot, but you'd be surprised at how often rare coins slip into circulation unnoticed. Keep an eye out for anything unusual, different mint marks, odd dates, or strange features. You could be holding on to something worth more than just pocket change. All right, I think we've covered all the juicy details about the 1968 no-mint mark penny and why it's worth $2.3 million. But before you start flipping through your coin jar, let me leave you with this. Coin collecting is an adventure. It's about being in the right place at the right time and having the knowledge to spot the treasures hiding in plain sight. Whether you're looking for rare pennies, quarters, or anything in between, there's always something new to learn, and you never know. Your next find could be worth more than you ever imagined. So, if you enjoy learning about these hidden gems and want more tips on how to hunt down the next big coin find, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm constantly sharing more strategies, tips, and stories about coins worth money. Join the community, because who knows, your next penny could turn into your next big payday. We're diving into one of the most exciting finds that could make you a small fortune. I'm talking about the 1984 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny, which might be sitting around in your collection, totally overlooked. Now, I know what you're thinking. A penny? Worth millions? That's gotta be a joke. But let me tell you, this coin is the real deal. Believe it or not, a 1984 no-mint mark penny can be worth up to $2.4 million. Yeah, you heard that right. Millions for a coin worth just 1 cent when it was first minted. Now, if you're anything like me, when I first heard about this, I thought it was one of those stories you hear at family gatherings, where your uncle swears he found a rare coin in his cereal box. But no, this is the real thing, and today, I'm gonna break it down for you. So grab your magnifying glass, because you might just have a treasure sitting right in your pocket. All right, let's start by answering the question on everyone's mind. Why in the world is a penny from 1984 worth $2.4 million? At first glance, it's just a regular penny, right? Wrong. The magic happens because this particular year's coins, without a mint mark, have some very special characteristics that make them stand out from the rest. You see, most pennies have either a D or an S mint mark on them, telling you where they were made, Denver or San Francisco. But in 1984, the U.S. Mint made an error and a few thousand pennies rolled out with no mint mark at all. That mistake created one of the rarest and most valuable pennies ever. It's like hitting the jackpot on a lottery ticket you didn't even know you bought. How the heck do I know if I have one of these million-dollar pennies? The first thing you'll want to do is check the date and look for the absence of the mint mark. If it's from 1984 and there's no D or S under the date, you've got a potential gold mine. But it's not as simple as just having an undated penny. Oh no, my friend. The condition of the coin is key here. You want a penny that's in mint condition. meaning it has minimal wear and tear, sharp features, and great color. If it's worn down or damaged, it could lose significant value. So, if you've got a shiny 1984 no mint mark penny in pristine condition, you're holding something pretty rare. Now, let's talk about the grading process. You might have heard people talking about coins being graded or rated based on their condition. This is a huge part of the process when it comes to determining the value of rare coins. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being perfect. A high-grade 1984 no-mint mark penny in excellent condition can fetch you big bucks at auction, but anything under a grade of 60 is worth significantly less. So, if you find one of these pennies, your next step is to get it professionally graded by a reputable service like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC. A few years ago, I was rummaging through my old coin jar in the basement, looking for some spare change to toss into a coin machine for a quick dollar. Nothing too exciting, just the usual pennies, nickels, and some quarters from my pocket change. But then, I spotted it, a 1984 penny that didn't have a mint mark. I froze. I had heard rumors about these coins, but I wasn't sure if this one was a winner. After some research, I realized it was the real deal. It wasn't a $1 million coin, but it did spark my curiosity and started me on the path of discovering how rare and valuable certain coins can be. That penny didn't end up worth a small fortune, but it opened my eyes to how much potential there is in everyday pocket change. And now, I'm hooked. If you've got a 1984 penny with no mint mark, you might just have a small fortune sitting in your pocket. Whether it's worth $2.4 million or just a few bucks, knowing what you've got is key. And remember, it's not just about having the coin. It's about understanding its value, condition, and making sure it's graded properly. If you're just starting out on your coin collecting journey or you're a seasoned pro, keep an eye out for rare coins like this one. You never know what's hiding in your spare change. And hey, don't forget, if you want to stay up to date on the latest coin collecting tips, tricks, and strategies for finding coins worth big money, make sure to subscribe to the channel. You'll get all the tips you need to build your collection and maybe, just maybe, discover your own treasure. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep your eyes peeled for those rare finds, and who knows, you could be the next lucky one with a $1 million penny. Do you ever think about those old coins sitting in your collection or your pocket change? Well, today, I'm about to drop some serious knowledge on a coin that's more valuable than most people realize, and trust me, you don't want to miss this. We're talking about the 1978 Abraham Lincoln penny, and no, this isn't just another penny you toss into your jar to collect dust. This little piece of history could be worth a jaw-dropping $2.5 million. Yep, you heard that right, $2.5 million. So, buckle up, because this one's going to be a fun ride as we dive into why that penny might just make you richer than you ever imagined. All right, let's break this down, starting with the basics, the 1978 Lincoln penny. Minted at the Denver Mint. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a penny. How can it possibly be worth that much? Well, that's exactly what I thought when I first heard about it. I was at a local coin shop one afternoon, casually flipping through some old coins, when I overheard someone talking about a 1978 penny being sold for millions. Naturally, I had to know more. I mean, we're talking about a penny here, not a rare gold coin from the 1800s. Oh, here's the thing. There's a tiny, but significant, reason why some of these 1978 pennies are so valuable. You see, in 1978, there was a rare error that occurred with certain coins during production. Instead of the usual copper mix, a batch of pennies was struck with an incorrect alloy composition. That means not only was the penny struck with the wrong metal, but the minting process itself left a noticeable flaw. This rare error means that a handful of these pennies ended up being far more valuable than anything you'd find in your typical change jar. Now, the chances of you finding one of these error pennies are slim, but that's why I'm here to help you. Most of us don't just randomly stumble upon a $2.5 million coin without doing a little homework first. But trust me, it's out there, waiting for someone to take a closer look and cash in on this amazing find. And to be honest, when I first heard about this, I immediately thought about all the times I've tossed pennies into a jar without a second thought. I mean, I've got a jar of pennies at home that's probably worth a couple of bucks. But imagine if one of them could be worth a fortune. I remember a few years ago when I was on vacation and found an old penny while digging around in the sand. I thought it was just some random beach junk, so I tossed it back. Had I known about the 1978 pennies, I might have held on to that thing for dear life, taken it to an expert, and turned it into something incredible. But that's the beauty of this hobby. It's all about learning and catching those opportunities before they slip away. Now, the real kicker is how the market for these coins is evolving. Demand for these 1978 D-era pennies has been climbing steadily, and some collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for them. We're talking up to $2.5 million for one of these beauties, depending on its condition and the era. The condition is everything. If you happen to find one of these pennies, you want to make sure you take good care of it. I know, it sounds like common sense, but you'd be surprised how many coins get tossed aside or thrown into a drawer and forgotten about. If you want to turn that penny into a fortune, you need to treat it like it's already worth millions. So, how do you check if your penny is the golden ticket? First, look closely at the mint mark. You want to make sure it has that D on it, Denver Mint. Next, check for the signs of the error. The alloy issue can sometimes make the coin appear slightly off color or a little more worn than usual. If you think you might have one of these rare gems, it's time to bring in the experts. Get your hands on a reputable coin appraiser who can give you an accurate estimate. But don't just take my word for it. I know a guy, a friend of mine, who came across a 1978 D penny about a year ago. He thought it was just a regular penny, but after doing some research and taking it to an expert, he found out that it had that exact error. He sold it for a tidy sum of $100,000. Now, that's not quite $2.5 million, but it's not too shabby, right? And it all started with taking a closer look at something that most people would have dismissed. So, there you have it. The 1978 D. Abraham Lincoln penny is not just a piece of change, it's a potential gold mine. And whether you're a seasoned collector or just getting into the game, it's important to stay vigilant. You never know when you'll stumble upon a valuable coin that could change your life. If you want to keep discovering more coins like this and learn the best strategies for spotting hidden treasures in your collection, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more tips and tricks for you, and I can't wait to share more of these coin stories with you. Trust me, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and who knows? The next big discovery could be yours. So, if you've got a jar full of coins or an old collection gathering dust, take a second look. You might just be sitting on a fortune. And hey, if you find that 1978 D penny, I expect a thank you note, or at least a shout out in your next video. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, it's always worth checking your change.